Hey everyone, it is Gills post-game talk. K-State snaps its 6-game losing streak, picking up a 73-60 win over West Virginia. Start to finish, man, this one was dominant. This game was never really in question after the first media timeout. In the second half, West Virginia was never even within single digits. So, really from the opening tip to the final buzzer, Kansas State just kind of maybe released the demons a little bit against a quality West Virginia team. I'm not going to say this is a contender in the Big 12 or anything like that, but you look at some of the teams that this team has beaten. That's what makes this win just that much more impressive. As the Cats, like I said, get back in the win column, snap that 6-game skid, and really can build some confidence. And this team can't get complacent after a win. Jerome Tang mentioned he's going to be on one in practice on Monday. He doesn't want his guys to settle for just this one win. And, Kansas State can make all the strides that it wants after losses. And clearly, they have. But after a win, how does this team respond? It's been a while, since we've seen a victory. How do they respond? We'll have a lot of coverage, of course, on GoPowercat from now until that Oklahoma State game on Wednesday. But this can't just be a flash in the pan. K-State has to build off of this, and it's obvious this isn't just one win. This wasn't just one game. This was a win, right? You finally kind of got over the hump and didn't have to sweat it out the way you did against Cincinnati. You didn't have to make plays down the stretch the way Kansas State needed to on the road against TCU, on the road against Baylor, at home against Texas Tech. K-State didn't have to. There was no pressure at the end. Kansas State had a comfortable lead. West Virginia never had a chance. And, this was kind of uncharted waters over the last month. Kansas State hadn't had a comfortable win like this. So it's a big win, but it's not going to mean much if you can't build upon it moving forward against maybe the worst team in the Big 12 in Oklahoma State. But with this game in specific, man, Kansas State, when you've got 5 guys in double figures, that's probably, if I had to pick one part of this win that's most encouraging is the fact that it didn't take Coleman Hawkins scoring 19 and grabbing 12 boards. It didn't take, Doug McDaniel to score 20, right? It didn't take one superhero, one superstar to beat a West Virginia team that defensively is pretty dang solid. That's where their bread gets buttered, on the defensive end of the court. And for K-State to put up 73 points against that type of defense, that's really impressive. But for K-State to have so many scorers step up, and there was not an MVP of this game. And I'm sure you could probably look at the stats or look at the performances on the court and pick one, but there really was not an MVP. 5 guys in double figures. Jerome Tang mentioned the fact that everybody except for David Castillo grabbed a rebound, right? The little plays, the hustle plays, everybody stepped up. And, first possession of the game was a turnover, but after that, the intensity, the body language, right? The energy, effort, all those, buy-in, all that stuff that we've been talking about time and again here on GoPowercat was not at all an issue. It was a strength. It was a reason that Kansas State won this game, a reason that Kansas State, was able to come out on top. They did all the little things. They executed, of course, but you're not going to be in a position to execute if you don't have good energy. You're not going to get open unless you're giving it your 110%, right? So Kansas State, top to bottom, I think everybody played well. This was maybe a step back for David Castillo. He was held scoreless. Moby didn't score at all, but they were obviously limited in minutes. So, I'm not going to look too much into the negatives here. K-State, easily the best first half, easily the best half of basketball that we've seen all year. Now, best game, I think it's probably the best game. Of course, K-State scored 120 points, but that was against one of the worst teams in all of college basketball. So probably the best game of the year, but certainly the best half of basketball that, Kansas State was able to come out to a strong start. That was absolutely a key to beating West Virginia. But what's more encouraging with that is the fact that Kansas State was able to keep its foot on the gas, able to keep the pressure on West Virginia for the full 20 minutes of that first half. K-State did not settle in. Now, in the second half, things got a little sloppy here and there, and obviously West Virginia, outscored K-State by 11 in the second half. But again, when you build up a lead like that, does it really matter? Not really. But that was easily, I think it's without question, the best half of basketball we've seen all year. We're not asking for 40 perfect minutes of basketball, but when you can have those spurts like that, I think it was a 17-0 run at one point in the first half. You're going to win basketball games doing that. Don't have to be perfect for every single play, every single possession, but you can show that you have a high ceiling and you can make those plays. You're going to be coming out on top more often than not in the Big 12. So this is an encouraging game from Kansas State without a doubt. It's not going to mean anything. It's not going to mean anything if Kansas State doesn't come out on Wednesday against Oklahoma State and pick up a win. It's just not. One step forward, two steps back. You've got to lock in here in practice. Kansas State has to find a way to now make a winning streak, right? And maybe moving forward, win some on the road. But before you can think about those games, you've got an Oklahoma State team that you can absolutely beat. Kansas State was beat by this team in its third, I think, conference game of the year. And so got to correct those mistakes down in Stillwater, find a way to come out on top. And, it was a 6-game losing streak for Kansas State. Why not? Why not go out and start a winning streak here in Bramlage Coliseum?